Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about switching zones on Doordash. One of the benefits of being a Doordash driver is the flexibility of work available. The orders you can accept and who you work with, time of the day for the most part, even where you work. Yes, there are some limitations here and there, but there is a lot of flexibility with that. You also have the ability to switch zones if you want, which some do and some don't. But there's some important information you need to know before you start doing this. So in this video, we're going to be talking about everything you must know about switching zones on Doordash, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over in this video is very market dependent, and what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Switch to a busy zone to potentially maximize your earnings and time while dashing. When you are out dashing, we want to help you maximize your time by taking advantage of busy zones. So prior to this update, you would have to leave your current dash in order to start in an area where you were sent. I know I'm behind the 8 ball on this, but either way, prior to this update, that is how it was. That said, you can end up going to the next zone order during a delivery, and you can end up staying in that zone if you wanted to. Whether it's a good idea or not is up to your discretion. More opportunities to earn. If you drop off a delivery outside of your zone into a new zone that is at a busy time of completion, you'll be given the option to switch zones on the looking for offers screen. This will open you up to more offers, reduce the wait time between orders, and allow you to make the most of your time online. When viewing the option to switch zones, you will be able to see the hotspots within the new zone and peak pay if available. If you are on earned by time mode, you will also see the new zone's minimum guaranteed active hourly rate. Keep in mind, the way they say this, more opportunities to earn, doesn't necessarily mean the opportunities are good or necessarily worth the switch. Don't get sucked into a bad area with more acceptance rate requirements or even sometimes stricter dasher rewards requirements for the purposes of a slightly busier area, which isn't even true half the time, but more on that later. Flexibility when switching zones. When the option is available, switching to a new zone is completely up to you. If you choose not to switch to a new zone, the app will look for offers that will take you back to your original zone. Dashers using the earn per offer mode can only switch zones once. However, when earning by time, dashers will be able to switch to a new zone as many times as the option to do so is available, and as long as the new zone is busy. I actually made another video on the prospect of earn by time switching zones specifically. I'm going to leave that in the description. Feel free to check that out. I find the zone switching system is an interesting move on their part, but it makes me not want to switch at all if I have to decide if I want to switch and not come back during the same shift. That said, I wonder if it's per shift or per day. Because if you're listening to my video on the scheduling system and you're breaking up your schedule properly, it is kind of irrelevant because you make a switch until your shift ends and then dash along the way back to your original location when you finish at that area in which you switched to. So it may say once, but they're not 100% clear on that. Updated zone. If you choose to switch to the new zone that you entered, you can see the updated hotspots nearby and start receiving offers in the new zone. If you are in earn by time mode, you will also see the new zone's hourly rate, and all the offers in the new zone will be paid with that updated rate, which is typical. They're just kind of condensing or getting rid of a few steps so it's easier for people to do that. What happens if I don't switch my zone? Is there any penalty? No, you will always have the option to switch and start dashing in a new zone as long as that new zone is busy. If you choose not to switch, the dasher will still look for offers that help you earn as you drive back to your original zone. Most dashers will probably opt out of this for the sake of keeping keeping things consistent. Like whether it is for the sake of staying home and waiting for orders or in the location in question for better orders. How do I know how busy it is going to be in the new zone? When given the option to switch zones, the Dasher app will let you know the busyness level of the zone, how long the new zone is expected to stay busy, and any peak offer available in that new zone. If you're earning by time, you'll also be able to see if there are any changes to the active hourly rate for a new zone. I touched on this earlier, but it's good to reiterate this point. The DoorDash's definition of a busy area isn't that it is busy. It is that there are outstanding orders and available slots for drivers to join. If that is the case, it can very well mean that there aren't very good orders at all and people are just declining them. How do I switch back to earn per offer mode after switching zones on earn by time? If you would like to switch to earn per offer mode from earn by time mode, you have the option to end your dash and check if there are any earn per offer spots available in your current zone. If the zone is busy, you might not be able to continue earning immediately, but you can schedule a dash for later. If you have already ended your dash, you may continue to earn by time as long as spots are still available. Yeah, they are repeating some of the same points throughout the article, which is in the description, by the way, but this is a good point on their part. Switching zones only applies to starting point zones, not the earning mode you are on. If you switch to a zone with earn by offer, you are switching into the zone as an earn by offer driver, not an earn by time driver. Same goes for earn by time. If you're an earn by time driver and you're switching zones, you're switching as an earn by time driver. It's not like you could change the settings as you switch into the new zone. Will I get peak pay if I switch to a new zone? If you switch your zone, you will receive the peak pay offer that is available in the new zone and no longer receive the offer from your original zone. Yeah, I can imagine the hack of that being abused so hard if that was the case. If they allowed for that. This goes for areas with different Dasher rewards minimums as well. And in some markets where they even still have Top Dasher, which is a little bit more rare, but it's still a thing. Those features are location locked. The only thing you're switching is which starting point you are in. Now, I have a couple side notes that I would like to go over on this subject. Not the same as moving. Have you ever noticed when you zoom out on your zone, you see a few starting points in your general area? Those are all the areas you could switch into using this method. That isn't the same as moving to a new location. I moved from New York to Florida in 2020, and I ended up seeing totally different zones. I know this should go without saying, but I really don't want any kind of confusion on this. State to state taxes. In certain locations, you might end up with starting points that not have different city tax laws and state tax laws. When I lived in New York, there were some starting points that were in New Jersey and Connecticut. Would I travel to them? No. But if I were closer and I really wanted to, I would have to understand the laws and the difference in percentages that I would have to pay to the IRS as well. Study your market. As I constantly say on this channel, everything is market dependent. What applies to me may not apply to you, which is why it's important for you to really study your area, what your personal market needs. Maybe you could do gig work while waiting for orders at home. Maybe your neighboring starting point is better. Maybe a different gig entirely would be better suited for where you are. I know I do pretty well with catering orders myself. I know that some people may do better with package delivery, or they just have a better affinity towards it. Some may do better with food delivery, like with just individual meals, but grocery delivery is on the rise in their area. Maybe they switch to medical courier and they could do some kind of tasks. The list goes on forever. Either way, do some research and try some new things and new apps. You never know what you might find or discover. Did I miss anything? Is there something else about switching zones on DoorDash as a whole that I have yet to cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that anybody and everybody knows anything and everything they have to know about DoorDash, switching zones on DoorDash, so that way we can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.